rifle's form or finish, for wasting more time on silly sketches of new shapes for stocks or trigger guards. In other words, for being artistic. The truth is that Cornish was an artist, pure and simple. He was that perfect blending of artistic thinking and force of hand that it took to make a sweet rifle. Still, it didn't come soon. Wainwright held Cornish back as long as the man worked for him. Cornish never got a chance to express himself, and the spark would have died except that in the evenings he spent time drawing on scraps of paper that he hid from Wainwright to avoid ridicule. There were new shapes for rifles, new lines, delicate filigree, all the beauty he wanted to put into his work that Wainwright held back survived in Cornish's drawings. And when it came time for him to leave and be a journeyman gunsmith, he took the drawings with him. When he started his new shop near Philadelphia, Cornish was near penniless, and for nearly 2 years he worked only on bread-and-butter items, repair, retuning rifles and shotguns for hunters, making cheap trade rifles for barter with the Indians, just to get by. As it was, he barely kept his head above water, and his artistic abilities were fading. Perhaps would have gone altogether, except for a piece of wood. It came with a stack of rough-sawn blanks, dry pieces of gun stock wood crudely hand-sawn by a carpenter named Davis specifically to sell to Cornish for use in making rifle stocks. These were blocky pieces of wood, only just recognizable as being for gun stocks, and usually they were of plain cherry or walnut and suitable only for rough trade guns. Except, tied in the middle of the bundle was a special piece of wood. It was 6 feet long, with the grain curved down naturally where the butt, or shoulder piece, came back, and when he pulled it from the bundle, it seemed to come alive in his hands. The feeling was so startling that he dropped the blank back on the pile. As he picked it up again, he saw that it was a slab of well-dried maple. But this was not uncommon, and it wasn't until he looked closer that he saw the small marks scattered over the surface of the wood and knew it was a piece of striped or curly maple. In the rough-sawn texture, they looked almost like blemishes, scars, but he knew them at once as almost classic bird's eyes. Tiny knots that would make the wood seem spotted and tiger-striped when it was smooth-finished and oiled. He had never seen so many of the spots and stripes, never seen such a potentially beautiful gun stock, and he decided in that instant he would make a rifle to match the stock, would make the rifle of his dreams and drawings. And yet, it didn't happen fast. He still had to live, to eat, and during the days he made trade guns and did repairs and didn't work on his special rifle until after the evening meal. Usually it was dark by then, and he had to work in candlelight, which slowed him still more, and it was perhaps this reason, the slowness of his work, that caused him to take even more care than he would normally have taken. Whatever the reason, he lingered over each part of the rifle with a kind of love. Making the barrel itself took him almost 6 months of night work. He used his best steel strap and hot-forged it around a .30 caliber tube so that it was 42 inches long. Then bored it out to .40 caliber with a long drill bit. Using such a small bore, .40 inches in diameter, when many rifles and guns were made at .5